Ole Miss is going to win a game 17-13 this season, and honestly, it's going to be the most important win all season.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everydayers? I'm Stephen Willis. Welcome back to Locked On Ole Miss. This is the Locked On Ole Miss season preview. No depth charts, no position-by-position walkthrough. Everybody else is doing that crap today. It's unwatchable. 3 takes, and you can hold me to all 3 of them in January. Number 1, I think this is a defense now, and almost nobody has processed that, I don't think. Number 2, September 19th is a trap, just a trap, because the game of the season is actually at Texas. And number 3, this is the best roster that Ole Miss is going to have for 3 years. So let's get started. For a decade, we've been an offense with a defense attached. No longer when it comes to that. So let me start this season preview off with the boldest thing I am going to say all day. Ole Miss is going to win the game this year 17-13, and it's going to be the most important win all season. Now, sit with how weird that sentence sounds, okay? For the last decade, this program has been an offense with a tag-along defense. That's who we've been. It hasn't been balanced. Score 40, hope they score 39. And everybody goes home happy and very exhausted. That Arkansas game in 2001 still messes with me. Lane Kiffin built an amusement park at Ole Miss, and the ride was the offense. That's over. And I don't think most of you have processed that just yet. Now, here's a number that kind of tells the whole story, and I got it from Tom Vanderford, honestly, the mayor. He said in 2025, the transfer class was roughly 70% offense and 30% defense. This year, about 50-50. That's an entire offseason in one number. That's a program deciding what it wants to be. And look at what they've bought with it. They've got power 4 players everywhere, starting defensive backs in one room. Edwin Joseph from Florida State, Janelle Aguero from Georgia, Jay Crawford, Auburn, Sharif Denson, Florida. 4 men who started elsewhere coming on over. And also Jaheim Otis came here from Alabama back into the state of Mississippi. When he was at Alabama, he was freshman all SEC. Tajay Butler came from Georgia Tech over. Jonathan Maldonado, he helped boost this pass rush by coming over from Nevada. Blake Purchase as well. And then there's Will Eccles, by the way, who had 26 pressures a year ago. The most of any defensive tackle in Power 4 football, not the SEC, every single bit of it. Now, here's why it matters. And this is the part that I really want you to actually understand instead of just nodding along with it, okay? Pete Golding's ideal defense doesn't blitz. Think about that. He's somebody that's thought of as an explosive play generator, really good with the defensive ends. He's the coach that had Will Anderson when he had 30 sacks or something in a year. It's crazy. But the whole design of the defense is designed to generate pressure with 4 or fewer and drop everybody else back. There's simulated pressures, there's movement, things like that is designed to get people free without having to send an extra man at the quarterback. That way, you have more people on the back end of the defense. You can get the takeaways. You can't do that unless the back 5 can hold up completely alone. That's the entire ball game. If you look at the Fiesta Bowl a year ago, everybody's going to say that Ole Miss lost the game because they couldn't stop Miami's run. And that's a little bit true. But what really got them beat, they would have won the game otherwise, but what really got them beat was the defensive back had a bust and a missed tackle that both resulted in touchdowns. Simple as that. One play here and there. Coach Cutcliffe, whenever I was at Ole Miss in the early part of my reign there and the very end of his, he used to always say, you never know when the play is going to happen in a game that's going to determine the outcome. You have to be ready every single play. Because if you take a play off, if you make a bust and you get burned, it could be the thing that sends you home unhappy. So that's just why they bought four power four starters instead of two. And exactly why Golding is moving Edwin Joseph all over the formation so everybody in the room knows every job. But remember what happened a year ago. I just talked about it. The secondary could not be trusted. Ole Miss was forced to rush 8, put Will Eccles on an island, put Cam Franklin on an island. Do the best you can. Extra gaps got created by Miami. They smartly did 2 tight end sets, so all of a sudden extra gaps did get created, and that just made it hard to stop because you couldn't match up and play in the secondary. A missed tackle, a busted coverage, and that front just basically got neutralized because the back end could not survive without help. That was the diagnosis of what's going on. I think the whole offseason has been the treatment. So here's the prediction, and I do want to be held to it, okay? Somewhere on this schedule, there's a Saturday where the weather is going to be bad, or the offense is going to be off, or Trinidad is just human that day. Ole Miss wins anyway, ugly, low scoring. And the strength of the defense is what gets it done because they get that stop when they have to get that stop. Ole Miss hasn't been able to do that for essentially a decade, except off and on in 2024. And that is a team that can win 45-38, but also can win 17-13. That's the mark of a good football team. That's the mark of something a little bit different, something that you can be excited about. Proof that balance is taking over the defensive room and you're no longer having to buy great value brand transfer portal targets. You can go out and get the name brands now. And Ole Miss did. Got a starter from Florida State, a starter from Georgia, a starter from Florida, and a starter from Auburn. That's shopping at the big boy rack. And because of that, the back end of that defense is going to be set up in a way to where they can be counted on by themselves if the front wants to start having some fun, if you want to start doing the simulated pressures, if you want to start messing with the offensive line. You don't have to worry about the defensive backs. They have depth. They have room. They play well. They play hard. They're physical. All of that stuff allows the front seven, the front six, however you want to talk about it, to be the difference maker. And if you can do that, this is a playoff football team, plain and simple. That is the separation. That is the hope. If you take a step offensively back, which everybody has been saying, well, Charlie Weiss Jr., once he leaves, you're going to take a step back. I don't think that, but let's say you do. If you take 3 steps forward on defense, it's not going to matter. The offense is going to be a weapon, and defense is going to be harder to score against. And if that happens, you're going to be an even better football team because you can win in the most important moments. And that is something that you need to pay attention to. All right, quick one, everydayers. Does the defense finish top 15 nationally? Put that down in the comment section below and let me know what's going on. And thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Listen, the biggest day in this program that they've had in years is September 19th. But here's the thing. That is not the game that's going to actually decide Ole Miss's season. I'll tell you about that coming up next. Lorene Company is known for its enamel supporting gum, but now they're launching a nicotine-free pouch. Lorene Co. pouches are designed to provide clean focus while supporting enamel at the same time. Each pouch contains 50 milligrams of caffeine plus L-theanine and alpha GPC for smooth, steady focus without an energy crash. And that's because it's a Lorene product. Every pouch also contains nanohydroxyapatite. The mineral teeth are made of, and Lorenco pouches are pouches that swap out the nicotine and give you a clean focus and support your enamel the whole time. They come in mint, cinnamon, and mango, making it easy to find the flavor that fits into every daily routine. Listen, I chew the gum. I like the gum. The gum is really, really good. Comes in different flavors. I like the mint one personally, but it's really good on the enamel one. You can just kind of feel it working. I'm a huge fan of that, and we'll see exactly what happens. As far as the pouches go, I'm a fan. I use it in the car before I record. It's easy to work into my routine, and I can tuck one in and keep doing what I'm doing. And I really like that it gives me kind of a smooth energy and focus without feeling jittery, which can sometimes happen. So give Lorene a try. That is Lorenco. It is offering our listeners 50% off. BuyLorene.com/LockedOnCollege. That's BuyLorene, BuyLorene.com/LockedOnCollege for up to 50% off your order. I also want to tell you this show is sponsored by Wayfair. Whether you're refreshing one room or getting ready for the new season or finally replacing that piece of furniture you have been putting off, Wayfair makes it easy to find something that fits your home, your style, or your budget. You can shop your furniture and decor across a wide range of price points with quality minerals, pieces designed to stand up to real life, and Wayfair verified product specialist hand vet selected products through a 10-point quality inspection, looking like materials, functionality, features, and even how long they take to put together, honestly. So if you're still trying to narrow down what to buy, Wayfair gives you plenty of real shopper feedback to work with. You can browse more than 20 million a verified 5-star review along with real customer photos and feedback to help you shop with just a little bit more confidence. Honestly, my biggest issue was that my living room just felt unfinished. I had a couch, I had a TV, and I had nothing that really tied the space together. I went on Wayfair and found this really simple modern coffee table with built-in storage, and it's like, man, I liked it. I could see the reviews, the customer photos, and I knew it would look good in a real home because it wasn't just a staged photo. Once it arrived, it completely changed that room. It felt like it was intentional instead of temporary. And I recommend checking out Wayfair if you're trying to pull a space together without overthinking it as well. So join Wayfair Rewards today and get 5% back on every single purchase and start saving on your next home upgrade. Head to wayfair.com to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Hey, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to, and give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing, but it keeps all of this free. And get your daily Ole Miss fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now to get closer to your team without all of the interruptions. Click the link down in the show notes below or go to lockedonolemist.supercast.com to claim your free trial. Corey Burton, Mike Huseman, Dalen Flowers are available there. The newsletter, I think, is the best Ole Miss newsletter you can get. I'm very, very proud of that. We have some bonus content that comes up every now and then. Dalen might record something in the background, but those guys are only available in the Everydayer Club. So I definitely recommend you kind of check that kind of stuff out. So, all right, so second segment. Second take, and this one's going to make some of you mad, I guess. I guess all the LSU fans on the board that decide they have to do random commenting. So September 19th is not the game of the season. It's not. The Ole Miss LSU game, that's best case scenario, the fourth best team that Ole Miss is going to play this season. That's just the truth. As far as the most difficult thing out there, it's going to be charged. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be honestly a trap. And I know game day is coming to the Grove. Lane Kiffin walks back into Vaught Hemingway Stadium if he's not suspended. Millions of people watching. 25,000 in the Grove before sunrise. It's the biggest day that this program has had in the regular season in Oxford in years. But it's not the game that decides the season. The game that decides the season is Texas, and you shouldn't lose sight of that. That game in Austin is going to be real. And here's why, and it's not complicated. It is game 8. It is on the road. And by the time you get there, you would have already played LSU, gone to Florida, had your bye, gone to Vanderbilt, and played Missouri. You'll be 5 games into conference play, and everybody will know exactly what you are. If we're going to the playoff, if we think we can get there, yeah, that game is massively important. That would have meant you beat LSU, that you beat Florida, that you handled those early season roadblocks. But this one doesn't have the oomph of September 19th. There's no emotional lift. There's no game day set. I don't think there's any game day set. There's no revenge narrative carrying you through a bad quarter. You just have to go to Austin and be the better team. You just have to go to Austin and beat Texas. And this is worth remembering, okay? And this is what I keep thinking about. Johntay Cook is going back to Austin. He's from DeSoto, Texas. Kewan Lacy from Texas. There's some really good players from Texas. Landon Barnes from Duncanville, Texas. Going back to play the team with the Longhorns on his helmet, that's going to mean something for them. And Johntay Cook started his career at Texas. And now he's the guy in the receiver room who has not lost a one-on-one rep all camp. The guy I have escalated from an Elijah Moore type to an Elijah Moore plus type. And if game 8 of the season, he gets to go home, he definitely is somebody that you would look at someone that could make an impact. That's why it's not win or lose necessarily. That's why they're going to go out there. They're not going to lose because of all this extra stuff. It's going to be about playing the game on the field. So let me tell you why September 19th is actually the trap. Everything about that day is designed to be the peak. It is. The crowd, $800 a ticket on game time to get in the door right now. The set, game day is going to be in the Grove. The emotion, that kind of speaks for itself. The 9 months of waiting, the delayed gratification. The fan base is going to empty the tank in that stadium. And they should. Don't get me wrong. But you can win that game and not be a playoff team. And you can lose that game and still be a playoff team. The playoff committee does not care about your emotions. It cares about your losses. And Ole Miss plays a 9-game conference schedule with Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and LSU on it. So here's the frame that I want all of you to hold all season. September 19th, yeah, it's a game you're going to remember. Game 8 at Texas is going to be the game that decides where this team goes. And if you want to see the real version of a bold prediction, here it is. I called Texas winning back in July when I did the W's and L's. I did do that. The more this goes on, I just have a gut. Ole Miss wins in Austin. Maybe if Sark wins, or maybe if Sark is right about Arch, it could be a multiple score win. I have said it since July, and I've not moved necessarily off of. This defensive front is going to travel. Texas has to protect the quarterback against the most disruptive interior lineman in the Power Four. In a game where they will be favored and comfortable and expecting to handle a team with our logo on our helmet. That is exactly the type of game this program has lost for 30 years. But not that game. And this is exactly why winning it would mean more than anything that could possibly happen on September 19th. So real question every day is LSU or Texas, which one actually decides the season for you? Tell me below and send it to somebody who thinks September 19th is the whole year. And remember, we're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube. So say hello to our everydayers who make the show what it is, your team every day. Listen, this is the best roster Ole Miss is going to have for 3 years. And here is why that should probably scare you. If you got a sweet tooth like I do, you know it's tough to find the perfect treat without all of the sugar. That is why Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shot brings that nostalgia flavor back in a whole new way. This is that classic cotton candy taste that you remember with a tasty caffeine boost and zero sugar. It's quick and an easy way to satisfy a sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. And once you turn 50, you want to avoid the sugar as much as you can. So I've always loved cotton candy, but I can't be eating sweets all day, not at this age. This is the perfect alternative. So the flavor really does bring that throwback fruity vanilla vibe, and it's surprisingly smooth, really. I like how convenient it is too. It's small and portable. I can grab wherever it is. I need a little pickup. So it's become my go-to whenever I want something sweet without going overboard. So bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shots, available right now on 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon. And also, let me tell you about Poncho. If you are like me and you basically live in game day gear all during football season, you're basically going to want to check out Poncho's new game day collection. It's special stuff, everybody. Let me be the one to let you know about this. It's one of those things where it's a performance shirt, but it doesn't look like a performance shirt. It just looks clean, sharp, and like something you actually want to wear all day. Plus, you get to rep Ole Miss all day in style. And the best part is, it's built for real life. Super lightweight, breathable, comfortable enough that you can throw it on for a full day of tailgating in the Grove, sitting in Vaught Hemingway Stadium, or just hanging out at a watch party with your friends with the Tampa Bay Rebel Club. All of those things you need to feel like you need to make a change. And what I really like is you're not stuck with a one-size-fit-all solution. You can dial in your fit with regular, slim, or tall, or get long or short sleeve, depending on preference. And if you grab your team shirt between now and September 7th, that's the day after the Louisville game, you're covered by Poncho's Natty Back Guarantee. If your team wins the College Football National Championship, Poncho will give you a full refund on your purchase, plus you get to keep the shirt. So everybody asks, why Poncho? Why do you like it so much? And I always come back with another question. It's like, do you know what it's like to have a shirt that is so comfortable that you can wear outside and then you can just wear it into the restaurant or wherever you're going to go? That is why that shirt has become a favorite, because of the versatility it provides. So go to ponchooutdoors.com/locked-on, enter your email, and get $10 off and free shipping on your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/locked-on. Head there, drop in your email, and get $10 off and free shipping. And once you try one, you'll know exactly why I have a closet full of them. All right, so last take, everybody. And it's the one I actually believe the most, believe it or not. I think this is going to be the best roster that Ole Miss is going to have for the next 3 years. Not necessarily the best team, the best roster. And I think there's a difference there. And the difference is the whole reason why this season matters more than any other season potentially in the history of the program. Here's what I mean by that, by the way. Everything that built this roster is getting harder. The revenue sharing cap is real. The roster limit is real. The days of finding the power four starting defensive back in 1 January, 4 of them, that all is ending. Because every school in America now has the same money and the same willpower to do that. You can't do what Ole Miss did a year ago in the offseason twice. You just can't. It's just the way it works out. So this specific group right now is at the top of the mountain, at least for a while. Trinidad Chambliss is in a 5th year as a senior. Will Eccles has been here long enough to be a leader. Jaheim Otis came home for his last year. Lucas Carnero is on every first-team All-American list. Kewan Lacy is the Doak Walker favorite. You can see that's senior heavy. That's veteran heavy. And peek at the window right there of a football team. I keep coming back to something Walker Jones described last December. 2 text threads, 2 staff meetings, coaches asked to leave the room, a man sleeping on the Manning Center couch because he thought the whole thing might come apart overnight. They held it all together. Chambliss stayed, Lacy stayed, the roster stayed, and then the team went and beat Georgia in the playoffs in the final seconds. They were 18 seconds away from playing for the national championship, and my, oh my, I had already decided to go. I was going to be in Miami for that game. You don't get any of that back. You don't get to run that month again. So here's kind of where I land on the record, and I've not moved off of this in the last 2 months. The ceiling of this team is 12-0. This team can win every ball game on its schedule. There is not a bona fide L on the schedule. It's crazy. I think the floor is 9-3. And I want to be honest about the floor, okay? Because 9-3 is not necessarily a disaster. And I'm not going to pretend it is. 9-3 in this league with this schedule is a good season. It might even be a playoff season. But 9-3 is also the version where you get to look back in January and realize that you had a roster, that you had the quarterback, and you had the running back, and you had the defense, and you had the schedule, and the year got away from you by a possession here, a bad half there. I think that's the thing that should scare you. It's not getting blown out. It's about getting close. What's the saying? It's the hope that kills you. So the motto for this season has been the same all summer, and I'm not changing it now. If not now, when? Because this is the last chance of this group. Trinidad's gone. Kewan's likely gone. Pete Golding's going to recruit really well, and this program's not going to go backwards, so don't hear me on that one. But because of the specific combination of the quarterback, the defensive front, and the secondary, this schedule does not come around again. It's a difficult schedule, but it's just an SEC schedule. And everybody in that building is aware of it. Listen, there's about a week away until Nashville, Tennessee. Everybody's 0-0, and everybody's excited about what could happen. So, 3 takes you can hold me to. They win a game 17-13. The season is decided in Austin, not on September 19th. And this is the best roster that Ole Miss is going to see for 3 years. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonolemmiss.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we are going to send you on over to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel and audio. Make sure you make your second listen either Locked On College Football, Locked On SEC, or Locked On Bets. So subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment. Enjoy the football today as we are finally at week 0. Everybody can get excited. We'll see you on Monday. Hotty toddy.